Alright everybody, this is Eternal Blade here and welcome back to the cruise cabin tutorial. So, I was just doing a test render right here, but you'll notice I actually have a TV in here and I didn't show you how to do it. And there's actually something a little special with that. So, what I had decided was, one of the critical things with 3D work is you want to reuse assets if you can. So this asset actually comes from my LED TV tutorial, which you can find on YouTube. It's only about probably an hour long, so I would suggest you go follow along and make this TV because it's just a lot easier for everybody if you know, we can just reuse assets that we already have. I mean, there's no point in creating another TV, and also in the reference image here, they use a pretty outdated looking TV. The rest of the room looks very modern, but that TV does not. So I didn't really want that in my image, so I just used the Vizio TV I had, and I actually deleted the stand that I had created for it because on cruise cabins there's actually sort of an arm behind the TV. That way it can come out and, you know, point towards the bed and whatnot. Sorry, I just had a yawn there. So yeah, that's what I did. I just shrunk it down and made it fit in the little corner there. So follow along with the LED tutorial. I'll probably leave a link here in the video description if I remember, or in an annotation, but I really hate annotations, so I probably won't do that. But anyway, so now that we've basically finished that part, I didn't have to do anything, but we can carry on. So the next thing I want to work on is basically the little vase piece here. So I'm just going to actually make it big and we'll just shrink it down. So let's do a cylinder here. And just like so, okay? And 15 sides is perfect. Convert it to an editable poly using Control-Alt-Q. Let's just use our bevel tool, and we're just going to kind of create some curves here and just sort of get a general shape that we like. Okay, I mean, you can do ups, down, you know, whatever kind of curve you want. It's all fair game. Some people like, you know, more curvy things. I'm just trying to follow the image a little bit. At the same time, you know, I'm putting my own sort of, you know, flair onto it. You don't want to ever make something exactly like an image. All right, there we go. Maybe bring it in a bit. Get a little more. Kind of come out. Just give it some, you know, some visual interest here. Okay, and again, I wouldn't follow exactly what I'm doing. Just sort of do whatever feels right. Is really the only way to describe it. Make this a bit bigger now. We're actually getting into the sort of platter portion, if you will. Okay, and here we go. So let's just sort of go up here and give it a little lip. Okay, kind of in a bit. And let's start the shrinking process here. Okay, that should just about do it. Maybe one more bevel right here. Perfect. Now let's give this a turbo smooth. Those are actually kind of my favorite things to do, is just make, you know, things like this. They're just so easy, simple, and they usually come out really, really good. Okay, perfect. So let's shrink that down to some normal size. Press W, move it into position here, and let's just bring it down. Seems like it's still a bit big, so we will shrink it a bit more. Perfect. And now let's grab this bottom polygon and we'll just inset that a bit. There we go. Just so the bottom is a nice smooth edge. Okay, and actually we need to grab these, connect, and just slide it down just to give that portion a very crisp edge. Perfect. All right, now I want to, looks like I want to shrink it a little bit. It's not quite that tall, I don't think. So we're just going to sort of bring it down a little bit. Yep, maybe a little more up. That should do. Okay, select the old one and delete it. And here we go. Now we have a very nice little fruit bowl platter thing. So we'll make that in gray. Perfect. And you can see we're slowly fleshing out the scene. Just a couple items left. Now what we're going to do is, I think I'm going to tackle the mirror. Now, this is an interesting one. So we're just going to isolate selection here. And just go into perspective there so we don't screw anything up. And let's see what we've got. Perspective. So I think we're going to do this very carefully. So first let's grab these, inset them about that much, just so we can get sort of the mirror, maybe a little more. And there, and let's bridge. Okay, now what we're going to do is what? I think we're going to sort of cheat. I don't really cheat too often, but I think this is one of those times where it'll come in handy. So let's go into our top view here and make a box. Okay, we'll make a perfect 20 by 20 by 80 should be fine. And let's go to the front here and just drag it up. Okay, now we need a bit more than 80. Let's do 120. Basically going to use booleans on this. All right, press E, make sure your angle snap is turned on, and give it a 45-degree rotate. Perfect. Now let's bring it right to, let's say here, and bring it in right about there. Okay, and shift drag it right here. Perfect. And then press E and rotate it 90 degrees. Okay. W, and just drag it sort of right in the middle. What we need to do, convert that to an editable poly, and just bring these so they're right on the inside of those. Okay, so basically what we're doing is we have an H here. Okay. Now, grab this H and let's make a few more H's. So an H sort of here, and an H here. Okay. Actually, let's grab this H and move it over to about the edge. Grab this one, move it over to about the edge. Okay, and then grab this, shift drag this right so it's about center, and do the same over here. Perfect. Now grab all of those things and shift drag them down here. Okay, there we go. Perfect. I wish I brought some water with me because it's about to get intense. So let's save this. Okay, definitely make sure you save. And in fact, I'm even going to go to save as. I'm going to save this as next file up, just in case. So go here and let's go to compound objects, pro boolean. Let's start picking and just pray. And there we go. Look at that, perfect H shapes. Okay, so we now have our nice little H shapes in here, and that is looking just about perfect. Although, actually, let me undo all that. and not make that a pro-boolean. Let me just grab, which edge do I want? This edge and that edge, and let's chamfer those. Okay. And then actually we're going to grab these sides as well. The reason I'm doing this is because I'm not going to be able to chamfer it later very easily at all. So I might as well do it now while I've got the chance. Okay, perfect. Now we can go into our pro-boolean and start picking, and it should work just the same. Alright, now what we want to do, now that I know that works, is let's make the H's on the sides. So just grab one of the H's, shift drag, okay, press E and rotate it 90 degrees. And then what we want to do is basically strategically position it sort of in the middle here. Okay, and that's looking pretty good. Alright, and then we need to, let's see, we're going to have one regular one. Okay, one regular one over here. Okay, and it looks like it sort of has a straight one coming down right here. Not all the way to the edge, but almost. Well, we're actually just going to make it go all the way to the edge. So we're just going to grab that, bring it up, and bring this one down. Again, we know we have room to sort of play with it, so we are going to play with it. Perfect. Okay. Now grab all of those and deselect the main one here and just shift drag it over. Bingo. Alright, that'll be perfect. Go back to your pro-boolean object here and just click everything. Okay, you want to leave nothing behind. There we go. So stop picking, Alt W. You can end isolation mode, and we can save this now that I know it worked. And bam, now we have our relatively cool looking mirror thing. So it actually works pretty nice. We don't really need any chamfers on here. We can see about doing it later. And then the other thing we needed to do was just simply go to standard primitives, make a box, and just sort of, you know, in here, make a very thin box, drag it out a bit, convert it to an editable poly, and just hide it so it's sort of, you know, somewhere in the middle here. It doesn't really matter, you're not going to see the edges. Right, there we go. And make sure that is gray as well. And that, my friends, is our mirror. It looks almost perfect, really. I mean, the design is slightly different, but it is close enough. I don't think anyone will really care. The other thing here, it looks like, well, I don't know, we'll see. There may be a border on this, but I don't know, we should probably make the border. So let's make another box here, convert to editable poly, just grab the front, don't move the camera, and the back, inset, okay, bridge. Now go into our viewport here and simply align the edges just inside here. Actually, just outside. We don't want it to be inside. Alright, so just outside. Perfect. Perfect. And one more. There we go. Now what we can do is just grab all these ones here. Press R and let's scale it inward just to get a very small edge on the two sides. Alright, and then scale this way to get a similar edge on the other side. Alright, now we can deselect these and just make sure that these are about the same height. And do the same here. Grab that and grab this. Okay, make sure it's about the same height. Perfect. There we go. Now go into our top viewport here and simply drag it back to where it just meets the wall, and grab the front vertices here and just shrink it back to where it's sort of right here. Should work. Perfect. Right, and make that gray. And there we go. Now we've got our nice black border sort of on that. So that should work just perfectly. So I'm going to say that'll wrap it up for this part. I know it was a little short part, but have things to do tonight, so it's 9 o'clock almost. So I will see you guys next time. Happy modeling. Please make sure to like and subscribe, and have a great night.